right side, and the way it's divided, it's based upon you look at the gate, the entrance, and then sasa the main home waga in the middle, and then unagawanya. Sasa older goes to the left, to the right, then EV, and so on and so forth.
The first ever conference targeting men and women who are either already in a polygamous relationship or those seeking to join one is slated to happen in Nairobi. Now, this is according to Citizen Digital. Now, the event, dubbed Beyond Polygamy, will go down on October 29th, 2023, is seeking to attract people with a desire to demystify polygamy and also not just further advance the agenda, but also help open up the unconventional family setup to more people willing to participate. Now, this is set to happen at the prestigious Emara Ole Sereni Hotel along Mombasa Road. The conference will feature a host of women and men drawn from various sectors and who all will be preaching the same mission of polygamy. While speaking about the event, Lula Aginga, the coordinator of Beyond Polygamy, said the event would also attract women to engage a conversation that has long been a taboo. Now, this conference will attract women all over East Africa to engage in a conversation that has been seen as a taboo in modern society. She says it's a conference to help demystify polygamy that left many women stigmatized when their husbands marry or when they join a family as a second or even third wife. Now, further, the organizers say the conference will help polygamous individuals discover new perspectives, connect with like-minded individuals, and have fun while at it. Polygamy is part of our rich human history, and it is time we discussed openly without fear of stigma, one of the organizers said. Now, this is according to an article from Citizen Digital. I mean, at this point, I want to open up the floor and just get thoughts, views, and even whether you support the idea of having a polygamy conference. Let me start with you, Uno Mike, this time.
Absolutely, there's no problem with having a polygamy conference. We've been seeing a whole. Somebody asked me a very interesting. Somebody made a statement when this video was shared, and they said, if LGBTQ plus are on the streets demanding rights, where are the polygamists? Where are they on the streets to demand their rights? But people say don't always harken back to what our ancestors did, our forefathers did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to look at my grandfather, but I'm going to look at my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Uncle Yang.
Mm-hmm.
Polygamist. He alikuwa na baby wawili, unfortunately moja, one passed
away.
Baba.
No, continue.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one passed away, but he was a polygamist,
mm-hmm.
and it worked, for them. So I think it is also something that should be discussed, because if it's a possibility, then why not? We've seen cultures that do that. They practice. The only reason that it's always ridiculed, I mean, we won't even go far. Upper Utah, sister wives.
The Mormons.
Yeah. Sister wives. And in fact, they even have a show. Like it is for something to be put on, like on media and whatever, it is something that, it's not only entertaining, but people are willing to do it. And like somebody else said, it's probably better to have practice polygamy than have clan days. And I'll let Mika chime in on that one.
Mika, which
one is it chiming on the clan days or the nini?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
All right, Mika.
He's with the clan day. He can't hear us. So I'll jump in before Mika gets to jump in.
Yes.
So I actually come from a polygamous, I guess family, household, whichever one you want to call it. My dad had 2 wives. And and it was interesting. So my mom is mama mkubwa, and then at some point another mama showed up.
There's a Luo word for that. Miai, Kiai, the first wife, the old wife.
What, Mikai?
Mikai. Okay.
Yes.
So your mom is Mikai.
Yes. So
Okay.
when I said another mama, as in Mbuyu showed up with a mama.
Like at an event or
How?
when you showed up.
How? Amekam na yeye.
event,
Amekam na yeye akasema okay.
Ali.
Presentation, it is what it is.
Or to introduce her to
Yeah,
you guys, but
yeah.
not bringing her to live in the household.
He brought her home. Actually, she stayed for a quick second. Kulikuwa na war. Then she was sasa alipelekwa kwake.
Oh, okay, she was given
there
her
was,
own place.
yeah, she was given her own place. But this is prior to. So I don't know what he was thinking when he brought her to the hao. That one of I guess alikuwa nasema mimi ndio dume nime. So but kulikuwa na kawa hapo.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think Made looked at things and analyzed and aliti lakini ilikuwa ile ya okay nimeti lakini
She's aliti under protest.
nimeti lakini huyu aeze kaa hapa hatuwezi kaa kwa nyumba moja. It's just
And that's fair enough.
you know what I'm saying? So she got her own place, and I grew up with with the other kids as my siblings, and to date bado tuko on the same page. Now my dad is since deceased. My dad's been gone for over 20 years. So but I still communicate with them, still keep up with them, because when I left the country, when I left Kenya to come over here, of course kulikuwa na hiyo separation. Then at some point I guess
They moved
they no walikosana, between dad and second wife. But the kids, structure
The
bado
bond was
ilikuwa
still
hapo.
there.
Of course, the kids are his kids.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, the bond was still there for the toys, and I'm like, okay, these are my siblings. And so no matter what happens, even if let's say sasa huyo mama amekosana na my mom or my dad, it does not break the bond of the blood.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they are still my siblings. So if I introduce, I say, oh, okay, hey, One Mic, this is my brother, so and so. Okay? Now, growing up, even with other folks in polygamous households, or some of my other relatives who are in a polygamous, or even, let's say, the Nziak and my dad, you couldn't tell which child was from which mother, because they were all brothers. They all lived in the same space. They all lived in the same compound, no fences, nothing. And like in other homes where you go in and sazile sasa mzee anagawanya udongo anasema okay wewe you'll build there, you'll build there, you'll build there. So everybody goes builds na wanaweka fence. How kwetu we don't have a fence. But the brothers all built based upon where they fell and which mother they came from and so on and so forth. And that's how basically the home is divided. You go to the left side, you go to the right side, and the way it's divided, it's based upon you look at the gate, the entrance, and then sasa the main home waga in the middle, and then unagawanya. Sasa older goes to the left, to the right, then Evie, and so on and so forth. And then if you're a step, unapewa karibu na nini. Sasa wa mama mdogo pengine unapewa karibu na gate, because we are a little bit further, because they also factor in that huyu akipewa hapa na huyu apewe huku juu, then pia yeye atakuwa na watoto wao pia watataka udongo. So they space allocated in that spacing. They're like, okay, over here, if sasa now this first kid gets, and so on and so forth. But what I'm trying to say is that they were community. It was done that one of you're here to help. So wife number one is older. She's kind of I guess I would say getting tired, or potentially would get tired. You bring a younger one who's supposed to be able to help with those duties of the hao and so on and so forth. Na pia yeye atakuwa na watoto. Sasa watoto wadogo pia watasaidiana hapa. So it was a community type of thing. And so for me, I don't have a problem with polygamy, because I grew up in it, I saw it, and I've seen it work. I've also seen it not work, because there were times, even in our own family structure, where it was a problem. Because even though my mom came from a polygamous household, ye mwenye hakuwa anataka hiyo story.
Now,
Which is something I don't understand.
No, but that's an interesting point to bring up, because within, within our Muslim cultures, we're allowed to marry up to 4 women. And one thing that you're also always counseled about, like when you want to marry a second wife or a third wife, is that it is normal for the woman to be jealous. Like there's nothing, even if she did come from a polygamous family, there is no woman in this world who's just gonna be happy and excited that the husband, is marrying someone and now she has a new helper. There is no, that just doesn't exist.
Because the helper gets conjugal rights. I guess if they were not getting conjugal rights, then they would be fine.
So that's why, I think that's where we need to be sensitive to the fact that there's no woman out there who wants to share.
It's a human thing.
Wants to share the husband.